Hello and welcome back to Daily Drives. Today we have the Suzuki Jimny and today we're going to test it in the desert. The weather's getting better and we can do that.
I came to LA to make rock and roll. Along the way I had to sell my soul. I made some good friends that make me say I really want to be in LA.
So, the Suzuki Jimny. This is the fourth generation. The first was introduced in the 70s and thank God they have continued it up till this day because this is a very nice car. Well, first of all, it's very small, which is part of the whole factor about it. Very small engine, very small wheels, but extremely capable. This thing has a very 1.5 liter engine, 4 cylinders, right? 100 horsepower, 0 to 60, and who cares because you'll never find out. We tried to, but it was quite difficult. But we are here in the desert to show you where it kind of shines. This car is known for its value and the capabilities and the things you get for that value. For 6,000 BD, you get everything you need or want with a car, or a Jeep, or a SUV. It pretty much fulfills everything in a very compact size. So yes, space is limited, but there's so many things you can do with it. And Suzuki has been very smart about tackling those issues.
Some of those issues in particular that here this nose. It has an incredible amount of, it has an incredibly small amount of space, which means tackling angles when you're going off-road is next to perfect because the wheels are literally right up on front, and the same story at the back. Size-wise, obviously, it does have an effect, and it only weighs 1.2 tons, which is, 1,000 kgs is heavy. Including me, that will be a solid 1,500 kilo car. Nevertheless, because of its size and because of its weight, it nibbles and goes absolutely everywhere you want it to go. Another perk obviously being is that this obviously has 2 axles. However, they are linked. So if one wheel goes down, the other goes up. There's no independent geometry happening. Same for the front, which means tackling off-road terrain is pretty good, but also keeps the car completely level. Which is, again, for 6,000 BD, those tiny little things make a huge difference in actual vehicle ownership. And I think it's amazing. So as Osama mentioned, this is a 1.5 inline-4 engine. Now, it's not the biggest engine, definitely not the smallest. For this car, it's enough. The one thing was that everything is quite compact and everything is interchangeable. Everything, you can access everything. The point of this car in the past was to make sure that you could, on a budget, make all the repairs necessary and also work for reliability. And that this car does very, very well. So that word simple, although it makes sense in the front of the car where the engine is, and the rest of it, to be honest, also translates to the interior. Everything is pretty much standard. There are not really many options except for the manual gearbox. There's a 5-speed, and you've got your 4 low, 4 high, and your off-road utilities. Although, to be honest, I don't really think this car needs it unless you're going into real serious territory. Nevertheless, everything is very robust, very rugged, very plasticky, unfortunately. But then again, they are made to be able to get replaced very easily and very quickly. Those who know will realize that the clocks and the dials actually predecess from previous generations. Very iconic, even the way they look and the way it feels. Everything apart from that feels very rugged, feels very tough, feels very ready to go anywhere. And actually not as flimsy as you may think it is, which I like, because I don't like flimsy cars. Having said that, with this compactualness, which is a word I've just made up, which is fine, comes absolutely no space. As you can see, I have just enough space to put an tissue box, a high visibility jacket, and my window cover. Now yes, you can put the seats down and you have yourself a fairly reasonable size to put your luggage, to put your shopping, to put your off-road gear or anything else that you may want. But that puts this car a little bit in a bit of a redundance because the moment you put the seats up, that's all you're left with. Now, I don't know about you, but I carry usually a little bit more stuff than this, and that's going to be a tricky one.
at the break of night, and the pink skies waving goodbye. You come at the break of night, leaving no traces around.
I mean, one of the things you realize with this car is it takes you back to a time when there was no technology, no, Land Rover style automatic, terrain response system, nothing. It's just got the 4-low, 4-high and 2-wheel drive, and a manual gearbox and a bumpy floorboard, which gives you that very old school feeling, but in a new car. It's very odd. It's actually it's amazing to drive, and as you can tell, it's not actually that bumpy. I would have expected it to be worse. I mean, yes, there's noise, but it's actually not that bad at all. It's actually quite nice. I'm very surprised off-road on how this car performs. Question is, how does it do that on the road, where, let's be honest, it's going to spend most of its life?
Yeah, she's trying to avoid everyone.
So it's very rare that you get a manual in a car these days. The Jimnys actually don't come in a lot of manuals here in the Middle East. Mostly they're an automatic because that's what the general public buys. They say that they want more manuals, but they keep on buying automatics. So if you want manuals to survive, buy a manual. Off-road, everything is good and fun, right? I mean, you're going off-road, you're expecting it to jerk around. But on the road, it kind of continues doing the same thing. You don't really understand, is this a flat surface? Because it looks flat, but it doesn't feel flat. And it's just kind of wobbling you around, and it's kind of hilarious, for us at least, because we're driving this car. I've been driving it for a couple of days now. But in the long run, I'm not really sure if you'd enjoy that. It's definitely a great car to run around with when you're in a small country, small town. You're using it for those off-road shortcuts and all that good jazz. I mean, it's pretty comfortable. I fit in here perfectly, so does Casper. You might, however, see his leg in the shot, I don't know. Because it is a very small car, and that's the nature of it. But the ride isn't that great. I'm just gonna put it out there, it's not that great. The engine noise, well, since it's a small engine and there's only 5 gears, whoa! I'm taking this corner way too fast, as you can see I'm leaning and holding on for dear life, and now we're gonna turn the other way. Yeah. It is kind of fun though. One thing about these small engine cars I really love is that, you can always really push it. Put your foot down and just take a corner or something, and it feels so much more dramatic than in any sports car I've ever driven, and I've driven quite a few. It's fun to drive, even though it's not very comfortable. It's the passengers won't really enjoy it, as Casper right now is literally holding on to anything he can. I have the steering wheel, but I'm falling out of the seat while going around this roundabout over here. But it puts a smile on your face, and that's what a car should do. I think, who cares if it's fast in a corner? Who cares if it makes it feel like you're going to flip the car over? It won't do that, by the way, but it feels like it would. It's highly entertaining. Now the engine noise, I'm currently doing right now around 3,500 revs, and obviously I'm not on the highway, so I'm in 3rd gear, but if I was in 5th gear on the highway doing around 120, which is the speed limit over here, I'd probably hate this car if I drove more than 20 minutes in it at that speed. So yeah, don't go cruising for a long distance. Don't go it's not a GT car or anything like that. But for a small country, small city, run around, get your things done car, park anywhere, I mean, for the price, it's a lot of car. Take this corner. It's hilarious. It's freaking hilarious. We've dubbed it the mountain goat. Billy the goat. Many noises. 100. 15 seconds.
Yeah, how to sum up the Jimny? A lot of fun in a car that you wouldn't expect to have so much fun in. You really need to take it out for a drive, and I think you really need to get the manual. It's nice, it's easy, long gears, so you're not going to have that much issues in traffic and all that. It's not a worry. The gear shift feels like a proper lever. Like, you know, if you drove cars back in the 90s, this is what it feels like. There are cars that people should not get because they're too old or too young. I think anyone can get this. It suits everyone, and it can do anything. For 6,000 BD. Tell me what else you can get for that price and have this much fun. Brand new, not used, don't cheat. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Daily Drives. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
It is very small.
And it's very loud. Not in a good way. Yeah. I am samurai.
And it feels like we're doing 180 and we're doing what, 110.
Yeah, it does feel like you are going a million miles an hour.
Speed of light.